Learning how to dress professionally comes with the cost of individuality. What you wear shapes who you are, how you feel, and how others treat you. Whether you are a student, parent, or teacher, the topics affect everyone involved in the world of education, and even extends to the professional world. Student uniforms aren't just about clothing. They influence confidence, expression, and identity. Whether you are wearing a uniform or not, this debate touches your daily experience. Whether you support the school uniforms or not, it's important to understand both sides of the argument to form your own opinion. At first glance, one side may seem more convincing. After considering the facts and perspectives, you might be surprised by where you stand. Our thesis statement is school uniforms have both benefits and drawbacks for students, especially when it comes to learning, expression, self expression, and creativity. Hello, my name is Paris, and I'll be discussing why school uniforms limit individuality. Clothing is more than just fabric, it's freedom. It's one of the most visible ways to express yourself. Each student is unique with their own personality, interests, and mood. When school requires uniforms, they take away the outlet for students to express themselves. Personal style becomes suppressed, and students lose a chance to show themselves towards the world through expression of clothing. The National Youth Rights Association points out uniforms restrict students' individuality, expression, and creativity. It's unnecessary for students and families to spend their tax dollars and subsidize money on uniforms. And while uniforms are often said to reduce bullying, studies show otherwise. In fact, one of the studies found that student uniforms increased the average number of assaults by about 14%, by about 14 per year in the most violent schools. Uniforms do more than just suppress creativity. They discourage students from exploring their identity. When everyone is expected to look the same, it sends a subtle message. Don't stand out. Don't take risks. Don't be different. But school should be a place where individuality is encouraged, not hidden. As the Fashion and Law Journal says, many students who uh, many students who oppose school uniforms claim that when they are denied the freedom to express themselves through clothing, they lose their sense of identity, which is true. This loss of sense identity can follow students into adulthood. After years of being told what to wear, they will struggle with the decisions of personal style and feel insecure when surrounded by others who confidently express themselves. It can impact self-esteem and personal growth in subtle but lasting ways. Finally, while uniforms are often said to promote equality, they only mask deeper social inequalities. As the Fashion Law Journal points out, they hid visible signs of economic differences but do nothing to address the real cost of equality. Next, Fernanda will be debating on why uniforms provide a way for students to see each other as equal among each other. Thank you.
I'm sure there's been more than one time in our lives where we felt alone or maybe different from other people. Because of that, I believe that uniforms provide a way for people to see each other as equals amongst each other. Differences are one of the leading causes of bullying, so having uniforms allows for people to see each other as equals. According to bullyingfree.nc, bullying can be caused by multiple different things like race, religion, the way you dress, your height, anything that can create a difference between people. Which is also supported by the Nord Anglia International School, although it may be hard to admit, being different can cause people to be bullied or teased and can create a barrier between them. And I understand Paris's point that uniforms limit individuality, but I also don't completely agree with it because I feel like you can show your individuality by multiple other ways. You can show it through your makeup, your jewelry, your nail polish, stuff like that isn't just your clothes. And because of that, people can get to know you because of your personality and not by the way you look. By having uniforms, everyone is the same, which is also supported by the Nord Anglia International School by stating that By all looking the same and equal, it creates a form of community and togetherness among students. And it also may be hurtful to all dress differently, because by having uniforms, everyone looks the same, and maybe not everyone can afford buying new clothes, buying new shoes, buying what's now trending in fashion. So by having uniforms, everyone looks the same, and you can't judge people from not having this, not having that. But although I make those points, I still do think it's important to hear out the other side of things, which is why next you'll be hearing from Macy and her points on why we should be against uniforms.
Hi, I'm Macy, and I'm here to talk about how school uniforms are unnecessary and expensive. As if the price of living was already not enough, imagine having to pay anywhere from $100 to $500 just for a single uniform. It's only going to be worn at school. Also, you want to keep in mind that children do constantly grow along with school, meaning that you're going to be having to buy multiple different outfits for multiple different years that you're in school, and it adds up over time. With a statement from the uniform market states that school uniforms cost can vary significantly, ranging from $25 to $500 per child annually. School-specific uniforms are typically more expensive, with prices between $100 and $500. Additionally, uniforms for girls are about 12% more expensive than those for boys. And not only are they more expensive, there's a lot of evidence pointing that the uniform has no correlation in the classroom, such as grades or bullying. From a statement from Tony Volk at Brock University, he states that overall, there is no evidence in bullying literature that supports a reduction in violence due to school uniforms. Further, a peer-reviewed study found that school uniforms increased the average number of assaults by about 14 in the most violent schools, and that comes from a Texas Southern University study. It also found that school discipline incident rose by about 12% after the introduction of uniforms. And according to Miami-Dade County Public School Office of Education, Evaluation, and Management, fights in middle schools nearly doubled within 1 year of the mandatory uniforms.
Hi, my name is Brittany Young, and I'll be discussing and arguing the pro side of school uniforms. So right off the bat, school uniforms do help to create a more equal and fair, safe environment for students by eliminating the visible economic differences and reducing bullying related to their clothing. In a Texas school district, reports of bullying dropped by about 63% after uniforms were introduced. And this is a pretty steep drop, especially when we consider that bullying has been a problem in schools for at least 100 years. So anything that we can do to help reduce this factor of childhood development is a really big contribution to overall childhood development and childhood social skills as they get older and navigate the school system. So uniforms do act as a visible equalizer, making it harder for students to be judged based on what they wear. The Royal Public Schools of San Antonio, Texas, stated that uniforms create a level playing field by making students look and feel equal. This effect is pretty powerful in schools with diverse student populations, where the uniform becomes a unifying symbol, emphasizing that everyone is a part of the same community. And this is also from the Royal Public Schools of San Antonio, Texas. In today's social media-driven culture, students, especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha, face constant pressures to showcase brands and follow fashion trends. Shopping halls on TikTok and Instagram really amplify this peer pressure and make clothing a status symbol. And the school environment, a place for learning, growing, and nurturing, isn't the place for that kind of pressure to be present. And uniforms do help to eliminate this competition. When all students dress the same, concerns about fashion and their appearance are reduced, and students are more likely to judge each other based on their behavior rather than their looks. A study conducted by the National Association of Elementary School Principals found that parents from lower socioeconomic backgrounds were significantly more likely to say uniforms reduce pressure on their children to fit in. Additionally, both parents and teachers reported fewer problems with peer pressure and bullying when uniforms are implemented. And this is also really big. Bullying based on what student wears or their economic background can be terrible pressure on children and just lower their self-esteem, make the learning environment much harder, and make a place that should be full of learning, growth, and just beautiful growing environment to become a place of pain. And then, so we also see that uniforms also can improve their academic performance. A study based out of the University of Houston found that after school district introduced uniforms, elementary school girls' language test scores increased by about 3%. So when students aren't worried about what they wear, how they look, or what they're wearing, they can better concentrate on their schoolwork and social interactions, which the environment of school is for. And overall, my argument is that school uniforms contribute to a more inclusive, respectful, and academically focused environment by removing clothing-based judgment and helping students feel more equal amongst their peers. Thank you. Hi, so as we've seen, we've heard both arguments for and against school uniforms. Just a reminder that as an entity, despite what side you're on, they can be both a benefit and a disadvantage for students in the essential elements of learning, self-expression, and creativity. We've heard arguments against school uniforms, stating that fashion for students can serve as a form of expression of their personality, their mood, and promote creativity in students, and help them have higher self-esteem to prepare for the real world upon graduation of high school. We've heard arguments for school uniforms, stating that they help create and develop a sense of togetherness and help students not feel left out if they lack the economic power to buy into the latest fashions. We've heard arguments against, saying that uniforms are costly, more so for girls than boys, and that there's little evidence that there's a correlation between having school uniforms and positive grades and lower bullying rates. We've also heard arguments for uniforms, that uniforms can reduce bullying, and there's more of a focus on academic success and character development amongst students. Despite what side of the argument that you may favor, both sides should be considered for schools. The trade-offs must be weighed for each community, and each community should have a different outcome based on their demographic. And a balance needs to be placed between creative freedoms for students and the sense of equality and community in students as well, to foster a more unified learning environment. And just moving forward, future policies, both federally, state level, and among school boards, it should be considered that students' and parents' input should be valued. And it should be an emphasis placed on fairness while fostering a positive learning environment for all students, despite economic background,